And our final speaker for the fourth and penultimate day is Deepali Khanna, Rockefeller Foundation's Managing Director for Asia. Deepali leads the foundation's policy, advocacy, grant making, and strategic partnerships in Asia. She previously managed Smart Power for Rural Development, the foundation's flagship initiative in India, Myanmar, and Africa. Deepali comes with over 3 decades of global experience with organizations like MasterCard Foundations and UNICEF. She is leader for IFP's Gender Equality, Women and Livelihoods community. Please welcome Deepali Khanna.
As I'm here today, addressing the future of impact in gender equality and for women across the world, I must in fact address the status quo and the realities that actually exist. Decades of experience working close to the communities and with my female colleagues across organizations has made me uniquely aware of the role that women play. They are the key cogs that keep the machinery of their societies, nations, and economies running. From mothers who keep family units intact, to tribal leaders, to health workers, there are many women leaders in every sector working to improve humanity. Perhaps this is why a lot of the interventions in the development sector have been centered around women, because we know that when women are empowered, communities thrive and benefits reach all. So it is clear that achieving gender equality isn't just a moral issue, it makes economic sense. But does it truly translate into action? Not quite. Although we are getting closer to gender parity, change isn't happening fast enough. In the last 10 years, we have only closed the gap by 4%, and it would take the world another 118 years. Yes, you heard it right, 118 years, or until 2133, to close the economic gap entirely. This doesn't even account for the cultural and structural readjustments needed in society for true gender equality outside the economic realm. So, is the situation all grim? Again, not quite. Recent surveys by the Pew Research Center in 24 countries show that 94% think it is important for women in their country to have the same rights as men, with 74% saying this is very important. Moreover, in most countries where overwhelming majorities endorse equality, men and women do not differ in their views. So there is momentum and there is optimism. What we need to do is capitalize upon this to make catalytic strides for gender equality, and this is where the future of impact lies. Platforms like the Impact Future Project are therefore necessary to get the brightest and the most influential minds together to solve these challenges and trigger new paradigm shifts. This can also create synergies between the work of different impact actors and break the silos that exist for amplified impact. As we bounce back from the pandemic, it is also critical that investments in economic resurgence be gender sensitive. In our experience, we know that our work in ending energy poverty has really kept women in the foreground. Women-led micro-enterprises have thrived. Girls have been able to study longer. Women don't have to face adverse health effects of indoor kerosene-based cooking. And overall, streetlights have made women feel more secure. This requires a conscious effort, and it requires investment in gender-sensitive programming. Let me take the story of Ruby Kumari, who's a resident in one of the villages where we have been providing access to reliable and quality electricity. Before COVID-19 struck, she was running a home-based sewing school with 80 students. However, as the pandemic gutted her earnings, newly widowed Ruby got back to work while taking care of her 2 loved ones. Using one do-it-yourself video, she learned how to make masks and employed 10 women who were similarly struggling in their new venture. This is the resilient spirit of women that we need to support and amplify using our investments and influence. We need to put gender at the heart of large-scale programming, especially in healthcare, education, and economic livelihoods. We need to invest in reforming inequitable gender systems, including the underlying norms, practices, and decision-making processes that lead to systemic barriers and persistent discrimination against women and girls, as well as create opportunities and support systems for women and girls to exercise leadership, voice, agency, and power. This also includes investing in readdressing historical disadvantages faced by women and girls, especially in the global south. As we enter an advanced fourth industrial age, this also means monitoring gender parity in the professions of the future and guiding the emerging labor market to more equitable outcomes in the future work. This also means taking real and tangible steps to ensure that women representatives are included and consulted to advocate for policies with a gender lens to create favorable conditions such as safety nets for women workers. COVID 19 wrested control of our global narrative this year. We can take back the pen and rewrite the world's future by moving to establish greater gender balance and put women entrepreneurs among those at the forefront of recovery. The future is bright and it is equal, and together I'm certain we can reach there. Thank you so much.